Hello and welcome to my bedroom, you know. I have bad news. I have bad news, and the bad news is you will never learn English at school. You'll never become good at English at school. Sorry, I'm sorry if somebody told you that it was possible that you would become good at English, become fluent at it if you just went to school, but it's just not gonna happen. And I'm sorry for my low energy. I'm just really tired. I'm recording this at night, and yeah, but I just had to give you guys like a quick video on this. And this video is not scripted. I did not write anything. This is just everything freestyle, just coming, off the top of my head. And this is me just being honest with you with my experiences and the experiences of people around me who have learned English and learned to speak the way you might be wanting to speak today. So if you want to be like me, if you want to be better than me, or if you want to be like others who have been able to learn English to a really high level, stick around until the end of the video and take some notes because that is going to help you a lot. Okay? So the school system, or the schooling education when it comes to languages, is broken because school has a problem of systematizing everything. Everything has to be organized in some sort of order. There has to be order. There has to be a system through which you acquire knowledge, and sometimes that system is not perfectly organized, or sometimes it shouldn't even be organized. It limits creativity and other paths of acquiring it. It's like me coming here and telling you that, there's only one way of making coffee, maybe, because there's people who disagree on this. There's only one way of making coffee. There's only one way of serving cornflakes or cereal or something like that. I could say you put the cornflakes first and then you put the milk, and somebody would say, no, you put the milk and then you put the cornflakes. You put the coffee and then the water. No, you put the water and then the coffee. But then there is no one way of becoming good in English, or there is no one way of making coffee, and there is no one single way of making cereal or cornflakes. I'm sorry, cornflakes. Which is my problem with the education or the schooling when it comes to languages, because the school offers a curriculum, like this is the only way you are going to learn a language, and this is the only way you are going to become good at this. And if you fail at this, then you are not qualified to be able to speak English. If you don't get good grades in this specific subject, if you don't get the grammar questions right, then you are not going to be good at English ever. In fact, I'm gonna fail you in my subject because you're not being able to keep up with the other students. And what if you're a person who simply doesn't like grammar? Sorry. What if you're a person who simply doesn't understand when the teacher explains what the past progressive, what prepositions of time, prepositions of place are? What happens to you? What are you going to do about that? Because I'm one of those people. At school, I never understood what prepositions of place or prepositions of time were. I didn't even know what that was for. Like, you could ask me that today and I would still have a hard time explaining that to you. But here I am. I'm able to communicate in English at a very high level. And I'm good here. And I want you to get to this level as well. So I'm going to give you the education system in schools is really not good for language acquisition or language learning. I'm not saying that grammar isn't important, because grammar definitely is important to a certain extent, but grammar isn't the end all be all. Grammar is not the most important thing, that if you don't have the right grammar, the correct grammar, then you're not good, or you're not never going to be good at English. No. Schools give you this organized system, like I was saying. And as they give you this organized system, they tell you that it is the only path you can follow. And now you can be asking me, but okay, teacher, you're saying that there is no only one way of becoming good at English. What is the other way? What are the other ways? What are the other paths I can use to become good at it? Look at the polyglots of the world, the best polyglots out there. Most of them do not use school curriculums. They do not study grammar. Most of them they have perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, but they never even went to a school. Some of them went to schools, it didn't work, so they took matters into their own hands and they decided to study by themselves. So that's what made them good at English. That's what made them polyglots. And how are you going to get there? Study their techniques. Study their techniques, you know? What is the most basic skill you need to acquire spoken or verbal language? What is the most basic thing you need? The most basic thing you need when you want to acquire a language is to be able to hear the language, to be able to input that language into your mind, into your ears, into your brain. If you are able to input that language into your mind, into your brain, that is the most important step. That is the most valuable thing you can ask for. Okay? And that is what schools do less. You know? Your teacher, sometimes he's bilingual, you know, he speaks your native language, and he speaks English maybe at a high level, maybe not, but he's gonna use a mixture of both languages. He's gonna speak English and he's gonna speak your language to compensate for the times that he just doesn't feel like speaking English, or sometimes just doesn't know what to say at that specific moment, you know. So you are getting less and less input, and because he is not recommending you places or materials you could use to input more English, you simply are deprived of the experiences of the English language. You could be saying, but okay, I listen to English, I watch a movie, but I don't really understand what they're saying, and I get discouraged. I get demotivated because I don't understand what they're saying there. Well, my friend, when you were young, were you able to understand every single thing that was said around you by the adults? Were you able to understand everything your parents, your guardians, your caregivers were saying around you? Of course not. It was a process, you know? So you heard a lot of your language being spoken around you, a lot of it just being thrown out there, but then you didn't understand everything. So what did you do? Slowly, step by step, you were able to acquire. Why? Because there are these non-verbal cues, you know, non-verbal cues, which are, you know, subtleties that give away information that is given not directly, given indirectly, you know. It's like saying, of course, I'll give it to you, and then somebody else saying, of course, I'll give it to you. You know, can you feel the difference in the tonality of those two sentences? One is very energetic and willing, and the other one is sarcastic and kind of showing that, yeah, I really don't want to do that. No dictionary, no grammar book, no English teacher is going to teach you that. How do you understand and how do you know that? You have to get as much pure English input out there. It is not good. It is not good to maximize your input time with English that is not pure. You know, this is something I and I'm stabbing my own back here. I'm sorry. But if you want to become good at English, get it from the source. You know, get it from the source, from the people who speak English as their primary language, you know? And don't stop watching my videos. English is actually my third language, but you know, I think, oh, I'm sure I have good knowledge to give to you, you know? So don't abandon me, okay? But yes, this is what I was saying. Get pure English, you know? Listen to as much pure English as possible. I know you don't understand. You don't get it. You're listening and listening and it's not making any sense. Of course, yes, I understand that. But if you keep doing that, eventually you are going to start understanding the words. And if somebody speaks to you, it's going to be automatic because you're like, oh yeah, I think I might have heard this somewhere. I might have encountered this expression somewhere and I know how to respond, but I've never put that in an exercise book, in a notebook. I've never read that anywhere. I just simply know. And that is the fastest way, my friends, of becoming fluent in English. Take it from a person who has experience, you know? Take it from me. I'm not making this up. This is actually something I've been through, I'm still going through, and I live by every single day. You can do it too, as long as you obey, as long as you follow my tips, you know? Because yes, school is important, but they're not going to teach you the right ways or the fastest ways of becoming good at English. But what about the people who went to school and they're good at English? What about them? Okay, those people, let's dissect this. Those people had time of input and output. If you look at the people who learned English at school and you ask them, okay, but how exactly were you able to become good at English? They're gonna tell you, we had a lot of homework, we had a lot of exercises to do, but we also had an emphasis in listening and speaking time. We had a lot of that, listening and speaking, listening and speaking. Okay? Because if I ask you, what is more important? Is it more important that I say, is it more important that I know how to conjugate the verb lie than it is to maybe be able to say me hungry, me thirsty, water now? It's not grammatically accurate, but let's just say you're in an emergency situation. You're abroad, in a country where they only speak English. You're not going to be using conjugation of verbs. You're not going to be flexing any verbs. You're not going to be showing off your grammar, your writing abilities. No, you have to speak. You have to say something, and the person who's listening to you has to understand what you're saying. Okay? So even if you say, hello, sir, good afternoon, my English bad, me no understand everything, me hungry, me thirsty, please food, please water, please sleep. You understand that. It's enough, okay? It's good. It's good. It's enough for people to know, oh, this is what this guy means. I know he has bad grammar, but he speaks English. It's bad English, but it's good English. I can understand. I mean, sorry. It's bad English, but I can understand what he's trying to say. So your main focus, your primary goal, please listen, is to make people understand what you're saying, and you yourself have to understand what they are saying. It's communication, mainly verbal and auditory communication, okay? Yes, that's what you got to focus on if you want the fastest way. Because let's look at this. You can spend 6 months learning how to conjugate, let's just say, the verb have, because it might take you some time to, like memorize and be used to having that verb pop up automatically in your head. So it might take you some time. So let's just say it takes you 6 months to dominate this verb, to be able to just use it back and forth with zero problems, conjugating it in every single person, grammatical person, right? I'm sorry if you guys can hear, I think there's somebody opening a water tap outside. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Let's just say it takes you 6 months to do that. And I learned to memorize sentences and communicate with people, So you spend 6 months studying that. And I spend 1 month just memorizing sentences and words, something like that. So I come up with something like this. He, or he no have transportation go work. He no have transportation go work. And now you know that this sentence is grammatically incorrect, but you know what this person is trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. How much faster do you think I am going to dominate or become good at the verb have than you did in 6 months? If I already am able to make a sentence in English with bad grammar, and you are only able to have good grammar but not able to make sentences, how much faster do you think I am going to overtake you in terms of my English level? How long do you think that's going to take? Because I already can make a sentence, I just don't know how to put it correctly. So somebody comes to me and says, yo, hey, that is wrong. You say, instead of saying he no have, you will say he doesn't have. Again, he doesn't have. Repeat, he doesn't have. That is the correct way. Yes, he doesn't have. Okay, I'm gonna start using that from now on. He doesn't have transportation, go work. No, it's not go work. It's to go to work. He doesn't have transportation to go to work. To go to work, he doesn't. He doesn't have. He doesn't have transportation to go to work. This guy is able to make sentences. Now, what is he going to do? He's just going to memorize the sentence. And he's going to be able to make more sentences like that because he now knows. Okay? So, I'm just saying, grammar isn't bad. If you want to become good at grammar, then follow it. If you want the school curriculum, if you think that's going to help, do it. No problem with me. If that is actually working for you, don't stop. But in my opinion, in my experiences, the best way is to memorize sentences, is to input pure English from native speakers, is to output your English, the things you have learned, with people around you who are willing to engage in English conversations. That is the best and fastest and the most natural way out there. Okay? This is what I think the gist of everything I had to say. And thank you so much for sticking it out with me. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, any comments, anything, you can just write your opinions, anything in the comment section, and I will respond. Thank you so much for sticking out. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.